Welcome to the Touching into Presence podcast.
This podcast is for people who are interested in bodywork, empowerment, and somatic-based practices.
I am Nikki Olson.
I'm Andrew Rosenstock.
We are certified Rolfers.
Collectively, we're trained in various movement and bodywork therapies with an emphasis on somatic awareness and client resilience.
Through conversations, our goal is to share and explore mind-body paradigms to offer empowerment possibilities.
We are fortunate to be in conversation with Taro Iwamoto today. Taro is a Feldenkrais practitioner based in Lake Stevens, Washington, with years of experience in movement fields including physical therapy, athletic training, and martial arts. He works with people with physical challenges, as well as curious learners who want to learn more about how their bodies move. Taro's professional, career, and personal experience have taught him to slow down, be mindful, be present, and pay attention to himself. And he's passionate about sharing his knowledge and skills to help others move through the world, physically and emotionally, with a sense of ease, comfort, and freedom. Our talk today is about the Feldenkrais Method and how Taro works with it. We'll also have Taro lead us through a guided exercise, which is really nice. I enjoy Taro's presence and how he teaches these practices. There's something so welcoming and calming in him that makes me feel comfortable from the get-go. We hope you feel the same. So with that, let's begin our talk.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
Hey. We were just vibing on Japan and how awesome Kyoto is.
Cool.
Sure, nice city, yeah.
So, tell us a little about Taro and about Feldenkrais and how that marriage came to be.
Okay, I tried to be short and simple. So my background is professional background is in physical therapy and athletic training, and I came to the States from Japan and with an experience of a lot of movement, rugby, lots of sports and martial arts, boxing, kickboxing. And I came to the States and studied athletic training and became an athletic trainer. And I started working in a college and mostly doing this injury prevention program. And then I moved on to physical therapy and working in a physical therapy sports medicine setting. And that through my coworkers at that time, physical therapists, and was introduced to Feldenkrais Method. At that time, really focusing on movement re-education, neuromuscular re-education, working with very active population. So naturally, I was very drawn to the Feldenkrais Method and lots of movement re-education. So that's how I got into the Feldenkrais Method the first time.
Where were you studying? What part of the country were you in?
I am, I'm in the United States in Seattle, just outside of Seattle, Washington. And
so is that where you did your studies, your physical therapy studies, and learned about Feldenkrais?
Right, athletic training, and then the Feldenkrais training is, I did my Feldenkrais training in Seattle, 4-year training. Yeah, so, and that's how I've been certified since 2018. So it's only a couple of years, but I've been in this field in physical therapy, athletic training, and the health profession for quite a few years, since 2004.
Do you, in your experience, do you find a lot of PTs are open to Feldenkrais, or are you one of the rarer exceptions?
It is really hard to say. I do hear mixed opinions or the mixed feedback from other people. But me, I've been really fortunate and really good colleagues and physical therapists who were very curious and to learn about the Feldenkrais Method. So as I started taking the classes and the training, and I was so excited to share what I learned with my coworkers. And so I did in-service and share and during the lunchtime, and they're all excited. And everybody started to kind of using, incorporating some of the movements, ideas that I brought back in. And, but so personally, I have not had a lot of difficulty incorporating or working with other physical therapists, and they're very respectful of other disciplines, and they're very open-minded. But at the same time, I do another physical therapist who is in a training too, and in my training, and she did have a little bit of difficulty, I guess, and struggle to how to bring it into her physical therapy practice. So it is hard to say, but from my personal experience, I have not had too much trouble or difficulty.
Yeah. I think it's, from my perspective, which correct me if you see differently, I think it's nice to actually blend in a way, or not blend, but you have a physical therapy, which can be a very yang practice, a very strong practice, which has its merits. And you have Feldenkrais, which is a little more of a yin, a slower, a more a gentle can be. I mean, PT can be gentle, but it's a nice, I didn't know you were a physical therapist before, and I can see how it gives you more options and more tools in that, which is really nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you have to really know the limit and scope of the practice in both ways. And because the both disciplines, they're two different disciplines, and then they both have a benefits and advantage and disadvantage, and so you have to know the limit. And so understanding that, then I think there are the parts from the Feldenkrais method that can be applied to physical therapy and vice versa, and we can learn from others. But when you're coming into with the mindset of one is better than the others, then always going to be there's going to be a conflict, right? Yeah. So I had very good, clear understanding of the difference between physical therapy, how they can also be blended together, but also at the same time, they're two different things. And so I try not to mix them.
Yeah. How do you see the evolution of Taro? So you've done PT for a long time, and you've been doing this Feldenkrais. How do you see, or what is it you're passionate about kind of growing in coming up with you now?
Yeah, so the Feldenkrais method is, so people talk about the mind-body connection. And so the Feldenkrais methods, to me, really bridge the gap between the mind aspect and then the body aspect, and how they actually function together in really concrete way, and through that actual physical experience, which is a movement. And you hear that in the martial arts and any other mindfulness practice and other disciplines, and talk about how the mind is connected to the body. But in the Feldenkrais, you actually experience that, how that patterns and change through the change in movements, and through working with the movements, you can see how the patterns of thinking, sensing, and feeling, and then moving, they all evolve together. And so that really opens up my mind and so that's definitely not the same as a physical therapy. Physical therapy is and definitely, working with the physical aspects and promoting and improving the physical aspect of the being. But Feldenkrais method is, of course, and it looks at the both aspects at the same time, but you don't really separate them, because you work with the one person, then that you realize that there's really no separation between the psychological well-being and then the physical well-being. They always influence each other. And that's really what I like about it. It's not limited to, I'm going to work with your body, right? I'm working with a person. I'm working with a human being. That's really, right?
Yeah. Well, I think on that, one of the other reasons I want to have you on, I thought of you, is I wanted to share with people that listen to us that maybe aren't as familiar with Feldenkrais. So I thought, let's, if it's cool with you, let's dive into a practice, and I can go along with it if you'd like, or I can just listen to you, up to sort of you. But why don't we share a practice so people can understand that body mind? Does that sound cool?
Yeah, that sounds very cool. Yeah.
Cool.
So, for what I'm going to guide people through right now is you're going to be sit in a chair.
Okay.
Sit in a comfortable chair, firm chair preferably, and probably not the couch too soft. Just to find the chair, regular chair, and you're going to just to take a seat and sit on the front edge of the chair. So you're not resting, leaning against the backrest. Okay. So just to take a moment to just to find the chair and then sit comfortably. Okay. And once you sit down and just sit comfortably, meaning that just because now I'm guiding you through the movements and you are sitting and you're probably very aware of your sitting posture, but don't change it. Okay. So just to sit comfortably and then close your eyes, please. Close your eyes and listen very carefully. Move very slowly and gently because that you're going to pay attention to quality of the movement. So the first movement I'm going to ask you to do is gently, very slowly turn your head to the right and not to the absolute limit, but gently turn your head to the right and then notice the moment that movement becomes a little bit difficult. Okay, not necessarily discomfort or the stretch. Okay, and then notice where that is, and then return your head to the starting point. Okay, and take a pause. And then you're going to turn your head to the left side. Again, listening to the quality of the movement, and when the quality of the movement changes, when does the movement become difficult? Again, not necessarily looking for pain, discomfort, or stretch. Okay, so notice the difference between the right side and the left side and return your head to the starting point. Okay, and you can open your eyes if you want, or you can keep your eyes closed. It doesn't matter. And you're going to take your hands and put it on your sternum. Okay, both hands. So just softly, so you're not pressing, compressing, just lightly put your hands on your sternum somewhere and in front of your chest. And then gently, you're going to use your hands and then gently guide your chest to turn to the right. Not too far, just gently use your hands to turn your chest. Okay, and then slowly use your hands and bring your chest back to the starting point. So repeat this movement slowly, only to the right side though. Okay, so use your hands. So with your hands, you feel your sternum, feel your chest, and then feel how your chest is turning to the right. Several more times as you repeat the movements, and now you pay attention into your rib cage, front, your back, and notice how your rib cage is moving. So visualize the rib cage, how they're moving. And notice your shoulders. Right shoulder, which direction is it moving? As you're guiding your chest to turn to the right. And notice how the right shoulders begin to turn and move backwards. And what happens to the left shoulder? Notice how the left shoulder is moving forward. Okay, so same movements, but now you shift your attention to your spine, your thoracic spine, the spine between your shoulder blades. Just to visualize and feel the spine. How is it turning? And can you sense the movement taking place? Which directions is it turning? Maybe it is obvious to you, or maybe you didn't even pay attention. Now that you're paying attention, you begin to notice that your spine is turning to the right. And now shift your attention to your neck. And notice your neck is also turning. If the neck is turning, what is happening to the head? So feeling that connection as you're moving, guiding your chest to turn to the right. And how is that part of that body, your chest? Is it connected to your spine, your thoracic spine, your neck, and the head? How is it moving? Really simple, really simple. And then now you take a pause and put your hands down, rest your arms, just rest in the middle. So the Feldenkrais movement lessons, verbally guided movement lessons called awareness through movement. There is a reason why it's called awareness through movement, because we are guiding your awareness and we're helping you and students to become aware of yourself through movement. It's not the other way around, okay? So that's why you use the movement as a means to change the functions, to change an awareness. Let's do it again. Put your hands on your sternum and starting to guide your chest to turn to the right. Slowly, same to the right. Yeah, same directions. And as a teacher, my job is to guide your attention, awareness. That's why I'm using verbally, guiding your attention to a different place. So pay attention to your spine again. And as you turn in your chest to the right, now you notice you became aware of the thoracic spine turning, your neck, your cervical spine, and your head is turning, participating with this movement. But if you pay attention to that spine down into the lower and the lumbar spine, and can you sense that movement is actually spreading down, further down to yourself, to the lumbar spine, or are you holding it? Is there any movement taking place in your lower back, lumbar spine? And you may notice that you are actually not moving much to the lower back. And can you just allow that movement to spread down through your spine so that lower back, your lumbar spine is beginning to participate and become part of your chest and begin to turn a little bit. Not so much that you are really trying to twist your back and turn, but allowing the spine, the lower back, to fall along with the rest of the body. Right? So there's really not much effort. You're just becoming aware of the parts that you didn't even notice that before, and then you can allow that part and to participate in the movement. So as the lower back, your lumbar spine, and begin to participate in this turning, now you pay attention to your pelvis. And do you notice the pelvis is turning? So as you turn in your chest to the right, and notice what happens to the pelvis. Is the pelvis also turning? Then if it is turning, then you pay attention to your knees. So the chest is turning to the right, and that turning begin to spread down to your lower back, and the pelvis is beginning to turn to the right. And what happens to the knees? Notice the right knee is moving backwards, and then notice the left knee is moving forward. So becoming gradually more aware of the connection so that the turning is actually spreading out through not only your chest, your lower back, but also down to your pelvis and hips. Okay, so feel that connection through that simple movement of the turning. Okay, then what happens to the head? Well, head is turning as well. Right. And you now come back to the middle. Okay, and then you can rest your hands anywhere. Okay, so just remember the very first time I asked you to turn your head to the right side, that quality of the turn in the head. Go ahead and slowly turn your head to the right side and notice how your head turns. And notice the difference in the quality of the turn in the head. Okay. And then just compare to the left side, turn your head to the left side. Notice the difference. There is a very different quality to turn your head to the left side, right? So here's a little sample of the movement, right? So you can see even within that short period of time, you can sense the difference, right side and left side. The reason why that I guide you through only the one side, and so that you can really feel the difference between the one side to the left side. It's really not about the stretching the muscles, obviously, right? It's because you didn't really stretch the muscles. But what has changed is that brain now learn the different patterns, and it starts to make that connection So the head is related to the neck, and the neck is related to the chest, your entire spine, including your pelvis and your hips, right? So all of a sudden, without even thinking about it, that as you're starting to turn your head, that connection, it now emerges, and the movement becomes easier. So,
yeah,
what do you think?
yeah. I mean, it's I love these sort of practices, and I, as I sort of mentioned earlier, I think before we started the talk recording, was I enjoy the way that you come at it. I think there's something very nice about your approach. You have a very nice, gentle nature about you. So I think that for me, that helps it land a little easier. This comes off very soft, but I feel my right side, when I turn my head to the right, it feels like it can almost even just come off. And now when I go to the left, it's like, like broken even more. Yeah, I don't know. Nikki, how about for you? I don't know if we can get the sound all right.
No, I thought, I mean, those simple exercises are always so profound because there is so much truth to when you take time to build the relationships, even if you have the relationships, but we get busy and we forget that you find greater ease. And I wanted to mention, and this might be just situational of the PTs that I know, because I've met a handful of PTs, mostly through going through Brawl Institute courses and such. But I feel like, again, totally maybe situational. I might be giving a very broad stroke to the profession, but it seems like PT physical therapists are kind of leaning a little bit more into the mind-body realm because the traditional exercise prescription isn't working. And I think there is great success in some aspect, but with when people have developed chronic pain, and with the chronic pain, there becomes a story, and they're searching for the PTs that have the answers, because the way the medical modality is right now, doctors prescribe physical therapists. Physical therapists are supposed to have all the answers. And if you don't have the answers, then you get to go have surgery. So I feel that, especially with the PTs that I know that are really invested in their clients, to not have them go under the knife, that they have really created a nice tool bag with, and some of them are with these mind-body practices. So I feel, Taro, do you still do physical therapy? Or
yeah, I do. Yes. I do home health. Physical therapy.
Yeah. So is my broad stroke to the physical therapy world accurate? Do you feel that PTs are starting to?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. The people talking more, and then recognizing that you can't just treat the person as a machine and fixing something, and you have to look at the whole aspects, because that affects, right? The psychological aspect affects the physical aspect. And I think the people are understanding that part. And then so they, even in outpatient physical therapy, patients come in with the chronic pain, but I think they're more, they're talking about all the other elements of their life, and not just focusing on fixing the parts. And right. And so, yeah, I do see that they're talking more that mind body aspect, and certainly.
And how was the practice for you, Nikki? I did see you had to get up because of the kids at one point.
Yeah, my dog was barking quite a bit. No, I thought the practice was great. It was interesting because, for sure, I really you kept on having us go to the right, go to the right, go to the right. And I was like feeling a little agitated. I was like, okay, but I got that. I want to go left now. And, but it was, again, great lesson to take the time to sync up all the pieces from crown of the head all the way to the feet. Because then when I went back, when we did the post, stretch looking to the right, I had great ease, and that, the one little irritation that I was feeling in my neck wasn't there. anymore. So, it was you give a nice gentle tug throughout the whole system, then that little isolated annoyance goes away.
Right. And then the trick is that you don't become fixated on achieving something. You got to let go of your judgment. Okay. You may have, I'm going to fix this one, or I'm going to be able to accomplish this one. And you let that go, and you really stay with your body, and then pay attention, be present, and then notice what happens afterwards, right? And then things always change.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, I'm super grateful for this time with you, and I'm really happy to share this out with the people who listen, because I feel like there's a lot to learn. And what I'll recommend for them, and correct me if I'm mistaken, they should re-listen again to the exercise, but just reverse everything over to the left side. Yeah.
Might be a good idea. That might be a good idea. But I often tell my students, they often ask, should I do both sides? And do both sides need to be equal, symmetrical? Not necessarily. And sometimes I do the lesson only on one side purposefully, not to irritate them, not to annoy people, but to do it so that you're really leaving the nervous system a chance to assimilate that information, because it's such a contrast between the right side and the left side. Okay. And you leave that, and then notice what happens after a little while. And you keep noticing the difference, and ease and moving in one direction. And there is that difference. And the nervous system starts to organize itself. And then so that it's actually starting to carry over to the other side. So,
yeah. We have similar in Rolfing. We'll have sort of similar that at least how I was taught during my studies is sort of that the nervous system is smarter than we think, and it starts to integrate sort of as soon as we do sort of one side, the other side slowly can start to integrate more and figure.
Yeah. So that's, I said, I understand that ours to do and feel symmetrical, and then wanted to do on the both sides. Yeah. I said, why not do both sides? And sometimes, and let that go, and then just be willing to experiment with feeling so off-sided or so asymmetrical, and be okay with that, and play with it. Don't get frustrated. It's fun. It could be fun, right?
Yeah. So anyone listening, I'll say, wait at least an hour, and if you keep walking into walls because you're completely turned to one side, then maybe do again. Otherwise, wait an hour or a day, or not even do it again.
It might be a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you for taking time to meet with us and share us your great skills. And I look forward to learning more from you. I'm definitely going to check out more of your work.
Yeah. So where can people find more information about you?
Yeah, so you can. They can visit my website, www.transformmove.com. Transformmove.com. They can visit, check out my website.
Yeah, and you've got a bunch of stuff coming up on YouTube, I think, as well now, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I do have a YouTube channel. You can up my name, Taro Iwamoto, on YouTube. Taro Iwamoto, Iwamoto. That's my. They can look up my channel, YouTube channel. I have tons of over 200 videos and short movement lessons and exercises, and a lot of Feldenkrais movement principles.
I definitely recommend it, and like I said, we'll link it up in the blob at the end, so people can click instead of having to remember every letter. Thank you so much, Taro.
Thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Taro.
Take care.
Yep, appreciate it.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to us at Touching into Presence. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. You can find out more about Taro at transformmove.com. Please feel free to leave us positive reviews on Apple Podcasts or other podcast aggregators, and please feel free to share us with people you think may be of interest. We're doing this for all of you out there and hope we're making a difference in your world. We look forward to hearing back from you and seeing you on our next episode of Touching into Presence. Bye-bye.